I removed the jacket in a futile attempt at sparing myself some of the pain of Mountain Dew deprivation as it began showing signs of hunger. However, while it became so weak inside the garbage can, it stopped resisting its prison. I am becoming so feeble without it, I can hardly stay conscious. I have yet to completely drain my waning energy supply, but I am close. Even if I had a new caffeine supply this very minute, it would mean very little without my symbiotic jacket. I have no choice but to reunite with it, but I cannot do that until I have reviewed this next comic book. As I predicted would soon transpire, Tiny Adam West has returned, and he is using this opportunity to toy with me. As he warned upon his first visit, only that initial Mountain Dew was free. He has promised to supply me with another can and return my jacket when I have finished this entry, but there is an extra criteria. I must use at least 7 different conjunctive adverbs throughout this entry. This is apparently the English course from hell. I have already included 1 conjunctive adverb. Just 6 more left to go. Who knows what fantastic powers Tiny Adam West might have at his disposal. I do not dare defy him, especially in my present condition. I must hold myself together and power through. The second issue of Spawn: The Dark Ages continues to be a captivating adventure, filled with treachery, desperate pacts with evil spirits, and blood spilt in the name of righteousness. Holguin's storytelling is, for the most part, economical, logical, and straightforward. I do not feel like I have to read 50 issues before I know basic character motivations. Instead, this issue gets a lot of origin out of the way right off the bat. Covenant, through the magic of the heavy-set former Hellspawn at the Dark Castle, already has most of, if not all, of his memories back. This will instantly provide the narrative with forward momentum, and the story cannot cheat for easy drama with sudden revelations that come from the writer's choice to have the protagonist know things on particular issues, rather than the drama unfolding naturally from the actions of the protagonist. I can only imagine how irritating it would be for anyone reading my journal, the ramblings of a man with a partially constructed memory. Covenant's name is a conveniently prophetic one, and while it is always quirky to give a character a self-reflecting title, it is nonetheless indicative of his tragic nature. He believed he was killing Muslims in the good work for God, that he had a covenant with the Lord in order to find absolution for his past sins. We aren't yet told what evils he committed previously, but the narrative is competent enough, I expect they will be revealed. Covenant is killed in battle, and he expects to go to heaven. Instead, he finds himself making that familiar deal with the devil and sent back to Earth to train for a great war. I like the idea of a soldier on a path to redemption, and discovering his works were not good works even in his attempt at achieving that goal. I hope to discover if he was just misguided, if hell already laid claim to his soul, or if his prior infractions were so heinous he could not save himself from his dark fate. I like that Covenant's conflicting good and evil natures are better established than Al Simmons. It was never clear enough if Al enjoyed killing and turned a blind eye to the corruption paying his checks until it was too late, or if he was too naive to realize he was killing for Jason Wynn's interests and not his country's. This seems to be the simple story of a man who went down the wrong path, tried to change his ways, and perhaps discovered despite his best intentions, he never really left that dark path at all. Still, this background is all pretty vague, and I hope to see Covenant's motivations and history fleshed out, especially what exactly he made the deal for. Al had a specific desire that hell held over him, to return to his wife. We are not told what Covenant gets in return for his soul. The large former Hellspawn refers to himself by several names, including Cagliostro. So he is actually Cagliostro. That instantly gives this title a larger sense of relevance to the greater world of Spawn. Moreover, it suggests other familiar immortal Spawn characters could figure into this story in the future. Meanwhile, we also learn more about Ravalin, and he is suddenly less of a cookie-cutter villain than he was before. His wife is gravely ill and in a coma, which has propelled his reckless and cruel rule. Like Covenant, Ravalin has also made a deal with demons, though the ambiguity is reversed. In this case, I know what Revalan wants, but not exactly what these 3 sensual female demons are getting from him. But at least here there are clues. The demons are disappointed with what happened with de Blanc, which may imply they crave influence over the people of Revalan's kingdom. This commonality between our hero and villain may prove to be very interesting. Both have submitted to evil forces in desperation, but both have shown a vulnerability and a humanity in some form. And these subplots converge by the end, when these 3 demons, one with the same familiar mark of the Hellspawn, get their hands on this new spawn himself. The artwork remains varied, detailed, old-worldly, and contemporary at the same time, but I did not find it as bold and exciting as last issue. Likewise, the storytelling is less subtle and visually executed as before. A lot of what the first issue was doing is now explained in narration by the man at the tavern telling the story, which would be useful for a newcomer, but felt like hand-holding to me, having just consumed that material. And now, like Covenant, I must once again accept the fate my path has led me to. Signed, Unknown.